2025 will likely be remembered as the year several climate tipping points quietly flipped, not with protests or dramatic headlines, but with data. In today's episode of Positive Climate News, we look at 3 breakthroughs from 2025 that show how fast the clean energy transition is moving. Renewable electricity overtaking coal, electric cars outselling petrol cars in Europe, and battery prices falling fast enough to unlock massive energy storage investments. Let's begin with the biggest one. For the first time in history, renewable energy has produced more electricity than coal on a global scale. In the final months of 2025, the numbers looked like this. Renewables produced about 34.5% of global electricity. Coal fell to about 32.5%. Just a few years ago, coal was the undisputed king of power generation. Now, wind, solar, and hydro have taken the lead. This is not symbolic. It changes everything. Coal is the single largest source of carbon emissions in the energy sector. Every percentage point replaced by renewables means millions of tons of CO2 avoided. What makes this tipping point especially powerful is momentum. Renewables are still growing. Coal is still shrinking. Once a system tips economically, it rarely goes back. The second tipping point happened in Europe in December 2025. For the first time ever, battery electric vehicles outsold petrol cars across the European Union. Here is the market share by fuel type in December 2025. Diesel, 7%. Petrol, 22%. Simple hybrids, 34%. Plug-in hybrids, 11%. Battery electric vehicles, 23%. Others, 3%. Now compare this with December 2022. Diesel, 13%. Petrol, 29%. Simple hybrids, 20%. Plug-in hybrids, 13%. Battery electric vehicles, 22%. As you can see, the biggest growth is in simple hybrids. This is also good news. A hybrid car uses a small electric motor that charges during braking. Depending on the model, this can reduce fuel consumption by 20 to 35%. But experience from Norway shows that hybrids are mainly a transition technology, not the final destination. They help drivers take the first step away from petrol while preparing the market for fully electric cars. According to analysis from Carbon Brief, the move away from petrol cars toward electric vehicles marks a fundamental shift in consumer behavior. Once buyers begin choosing electric as the default option, the entire car market flips and the transition becomes permanent. The third tipping point may be the most important of all: batteries. In 2025, prices of battery energy storage systems fell by 31% in just 1 year and are now almost 70% lower than in 2022. Based on the Volta Foundation battery report for 2025, this price drop triggered an unprecedented surge in installations. More than 100 gigawatts of new battery capacity were installed worldwide in 2025 alone, adding over 250 gigawatt-hours of storage in a single year. Global battery storage capacity has now reached roughly 267 gigawatts and 610 gigawatt-hours. What makes this especially significant is momentum. Around 40% of all battery storage capacity that exists today was built in just 1 year. This shows how quickly the market is accelerating as costs fall. Lower prices are no longer just improving technology. They are reshaping the entire energy system. Why does this matter? Because batteries solve the biggest weakness of renewable energy. The sun does not always shine. The wind does not always blow. But batteries store excess energy and release it when needed. This makes renewable electricity reliable, stable, and available day and night. Utilities are now choosing batteries instead of gas power plants. Cities are building resilient energy systems. Entire countries can run on much higher shares of clean power. This is the invisible infrastructure of the energy transition. These 3 tipping points share one thing in common. They were not driven by fear. They were driven by economics. Renewables became cheaper than coal. Electric cars became better than petrol cars. Batteries became affordable enough to scale. And when clean technology becomes the obvious choice, change accelerates on its own. 2025 may be remembered as the year the global system quietly crossed several lines it will never cross back. Not one big miracle, but many small tipping points, happening faster than expected. Encouraging? Thank you very much for watching. If you found this update encouraging, please consider subscribing. The more subscribers this channel gets, the more people we can reach, and the more we can help those struggling with climate anxiety.